Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. We have another episode of Bosses in Action, and today we're joined by Kina DeSantis, and she's the founder and also a realtor at Reframe. And she's done something pretty impressive, and that's why we brought her here today. She's built her whole brand organically on social media. So no paid ads, just kind of straight up connecting with people and building a following. And Kina, I know a lot of agents here, want to learn how to make social media work without breaking the bank on ads. And you've done that really well. So, can you, introduce yourself a little bit, tell us a little bit about your background, and then, kind of walk us through how did it all get started?
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Kina. I sold my first house when the pandemic started, May 2020. I actually have a tech background. I'm not technical, but I used to work in startups and tech and venture capital. And then when the pandemic happened, I started posting organically on social media. Um, my husband was like, "You just have to start posting on TikTok." My big thing was, I'm just going to post one TikTok a day. You guys probably see those videos like what X gets you in this city. I think I was the first person who started really posting that like every single day, like religiously. And it started helping me gain a hyper local audience. And since then, we've just continued to grow. It's pretty amazing. We've closed over 200 million in um, volume in the last 4 years. I don't just find clients from social media, but I also find like all of my agents, all of the vendors that I work with. So really like our whole ecosystem of people. Um, and my one big thing that I like love about social media is because we're organic, we're also creating like a better ecosystem of people that we get to work with, like holistically, because it's not a paid ad, because we're not throwing something cool in their face for 1 second. They're really building a relationship with us, and we end up getting to work with people that we love working with. So it's been wild.
And I think that's kind of where like authenticity comes into play. And, that's something that you're really known for on social media here. So how do you think about, being authentic and, keeping true to yourself? And what does that look for you like on a day to day?
So I am not somebody who like aggressively plans out social media. Um, I will say like I think doing what you can to take like the mental load off is important. So I, have some videos that I'm like, these are the things that I'm going to post. I'm going to do house tours. I'm going to do team content. I'm going to post about a day in my life. And so those are the things I just know. Those are the days that I record, the things that I'm already doing. I'm not going out of my way too much to go take that content. It's the same thing that I tell my agents. I have a few agents on my team now who are trying to build their social media in the same way I've done it. And the number one piece of advice I have is like, don't go too far out of your way. For sure, for house tours, you need to go and like actually go tour those homes. But there's ways to like actually add in the content to what you're already doing to make your life easy. Because no one has that many hours in a day, you know?
Yeah, and it sounds like you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You have found what
Yeah.
works for you. And so you mentioned tours. What does your tour video look like? And then what does, some of your other videos kind of look like?
So if you're looking to do a house tour, you're already showing homes as an agent. I like to go to staged homes. I get there a little bit earlier. I take a video as I'm walking in. Or like if I'm going to go show 5 homes, I'll try to stack like in the beginning and at the end two of the homes that I can go take a tour of, right? Because I can get there early and I can leave late after the client. That makes your life easy. Or you go to new constructions and you go see 3 at the same time. But I go through each room, I take a video, and then sometimes when I go with like one of my team members who can go record the video for me, I'm actually just walking around the home and talking about things that I would talk about as if I was doing the showing with a client. So I'm always looking at red flags, green flags, and areas to improve or add value in the home. And I'm just talking about it like totally normally. And then they're taking the video and then editing it and sharing it online.
So schedule wise, you're mentioning that it's pretty natural for you to be doing these things. It's not anything like you have to go plan out something, as you were saying. How do you keep that on track then when it starts to get really busy, or at least when you're getting busy, to be able to still come up with some of these things? Or is it because you're automatically already doing all these things, you're just, documenting it and then starting to show it for everybody else?
I don't know anyone who's ever said like being consistent is so easy, like 100% of the time. It's just not realistic. And if you look at my content, I go through times where it's like higher and lower. But the thing with organic social media is that the people who are following you, it's like you're nurturing them, right? Like I see my social media as like kind of like a CRM, right? Like it pairs so well with Follow Up Boss because I'm trying to pull the people who are already on my social media into my actual Follow Up Boss. And so even if I'm like not posting my best content or I'm recycling old content, I'm still nurturing those people slowly over time. And people are following me for like, I literally have someone who I just sold a home to like last week. I first connected with them in 2020 on social media, on Instagram. Actually, first TikTok, then Instagram. And that was 4 years ago. And since then, they've just had me in their mind. They've been watching my videos, getting educated about real estate in my local market. And then they were like, okay, a few months ago, they're like, we're ready to start looking again. And so the actual timeline takes time with like your organic leads. So like even if your content isn't 100% or you can't film every single week or things get really busy, like that's okay because you're just nurturing these people who already in their mind know that they're going to work with you at some point down the line.
Now, so you're mentioning the nurturing portion of your database here, both on social and through Follow Up Boss. And obviously, like engagement is also key to building that kind of community. What's your approach that really makes others feel so connected and valued within your online space?
So I don't okay, so you asked me earlier like how do you keep showing up? I will say like I don't ever try to be cool on social media. It's a lot of effort and I frankly don't have time or the like mental energy to just try to show up and like be the coolest version of who somebody thinks a realtor is. I show up as myself. That one already saves a lot of time, but two, that makes that connection a lot easier. Like when you're there, when you're actually like talking to people. Because then when you actually get to the point where like they book a call, it's a lot easier of like a communication, especially since my team is all kind of like that. Like when people DM me on social media, my team member who's responding sounds like me, they think like me, they talk like me. Um, it's like always showing up trying to help somebody, whether or not they work with you, it's going to lead to something better in the end. Like I've had people who just want to ask me questions and I'll jump on a call with them, answer their questions, and they're like, "Oh, but I already have a realtor." And I'm like, "You know what? That's fine. Good luck." Right? And then the next day they're like, "Hey, I referred my friend to you. They're looking to buy a home here. I already am locked in with like my brother, but like this person's going to want to work with you." And great. Now I have a lead. And it's great because if you're looking at everything not as such a like a transactional approach, like all of the comments I answer, all of the questions I answer, all of the information I'm sharing, I'm not so worried that on every house tour, when people ask me the address, that they're going to go by themselves and work with another agent. Because guess what? Someone could figure that house out anyways, right? A lot of people don't like to give addresses out of homes or the cities because they think it's going to like lead to them working with somebody else. If they're going to work with somebody else, they're going to work with somebody else. But if you can be helpful, if you can add value to your community, then like 100% it will come back around. And it pretty much always does.
Totally agree with that. And even got some hearts for some others here. I think one of the things that you were kind of mentioning is not trying to be like a fake person on social media. You are yourself. So that way that authenticity continues to roll through. And then when it carries through into the next conversation, it's still there. And so I think that's super important for others to understand that you don't have to re-record a video 20 times because you didn't get that persona correctly. It's just make it more natural, be yourself, have a act like, you're having a conversation with the person behind the camera, and it's a very simple kind of process there. I want to move over here into the chat real quick. We got a few extra questions. Ahmad says, being new to real estate, what kind of posts do I do on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook? And it kind of a little expand on that as well. Are you posting the same stuff on every single platform, or are you focused on one or two specific ones?
Okay, so if you're just getting started out, like it's really important not to try to do everything or just be like, I need to just create a video every day. What you want to do is write down like 10 categories of videos that you can think of, right? Like house tours, informational speaking videos, monthly price videos or cost breakdowns, city tours, day in my life, restaurants, local businesses, right? That's 7 I just mentioned. There's literally infinitely many more. Um, from that list of 7 or 10 or however many you can think of, pick like 3 that you can be consistent on. And then you're like, okay, I pick restaurants because I go out to eat a lot, or coffee because I get coffee every day. I'm gonna do informational speaking. But actually, no one ever wants to pick those first, but just try to be in front of the camera when you're talking. Just try to get to that point. It will change your life. But and then house tours, right? And then it's like, okay, I have these 3 videos. I'm gonna take 5 house tours today. I'm going to go take a video every time I go to the coffee house. I'm going to, whenever I think of a question that people, or whenever people ask me a question that I think the audience or an audience would want to know the answer to, I'm going to write that down and I'll make an informational video about it. So, like, what you want to do is like have those 3 categories in your brain and tie them to patterns so that every time something like that happens, there's a reaction and the reaction is for you to make a video. That takes the lift off like so much easier. And then you're like, okay, those are the 3 videos. I'm going to post 3 a week or 2 a week. And, I'm going to make sure I record this many videos. It's a lot to start with 1 video a day. I totally get it. But if you can work up to that point, then that's a great place to be. But have those categories ahead of time. And I will say, if you're going to post to TikTok, post to Instagram and vice versa. And Instagram can auto post to Facebook. So I would 100% do all 3 and even YouTube shorts.
Excellent. We kind of always are talking to our agents about how try to bill yourself as like that local expert. So when you're talking about the restaurants, talking about the new coffee shops, the new whatever the new little places that you can go co-mingle, have a new snack, things like that are great things to help. Also, not just so you're constantly selling real estate, but it allows for you to still continue that nurturing process and also show you that you really do know your area. And so I think that's very important there, kind of what you were saying. One of our questions here from Raymond says, do you use a content calendar? And I know you kind of alluded to that a little bit as well. But let's think about, oh no, Kia, I think we lost you there, quite possibly here. But once she jumps back in here, we'll grab her again. But to expand a little bit more on, oh, there you go. Perfect. You're back. All right. So I was just trying to ask you,
I got
alluding
the
to
question.
content calendar. Perfect. All right. Jump in there.
Okay, so a hot take is I don't use a content calendar. I have an editor who just knows my vibe. She's my cousin. She's been helping me since she was 17. And so this is like 4 years ago when I first started posting. But we generally we're not over thought out on our content. And you can probably tell if you go and you look at my TikTok and my Instagram, like it's not overly thought out. It's really like, what content do we have? What can we share? We don't want to post house tours every single day. We don't want to post info every single day, but it's like a nice mix around. I'm traveling for 3 weeks right now, so we try to pre-record things, but usually we'll record videos like once a week. Those will get edited and then those will get posted. So it's fresh content. I really don't encourage making things too thought out in the beginning, because I think a lot of times with content, and I'm coaching agents on this every single week in and out. I think a lot of times agents can get way too caught up on like analysis paralysis. Like I saw someone ask the question, do you ask permission from the sellers to do the video? And like a lot of people think that everyone's going to say, no, don't take those videos. But if you're finding like 10 homes and you're going to go talk in those homes about the listing, then I will go ask them for permission. And 50% of the time, they're going to say yes. Well, if I asked 10 people, now I have 5 homes I can go tour, talk about the home, do the whole walkthrough. If I'm just going to take like a regular video and maybe do a voiceover, then I don't ask because I'm already there showing the house. So I'm not using it to like market myself as much as I am just marketing the house.
Excellent. So Anum, I believe the name is. Anum, mentioned, what do you recommend outsourcing, such as like editing videos, coming up with content? You kind of mentioned your cousin there. Are you getting also additional assistance when it does come to the content you're, at least the ideas, or kind of just goes back to just making sure whatever comes natural, that's what you're going to focus on?
Yeah, as far as ideas goes, it is whatever comes naturally. I get a million questions a day from agents, buyers, sellers, vendors. And so there's so much. Like I really look at it as like this is an educational thing. It's all about learning what I find interesting, probably my audience would find interesting. So as far as like ideas, no, those usually just come from the heart. But editing, I'm not a good editor. I'm a good realtor, but I'm not a good editor by any means. So back like even in 2020, when I started posting every day, I like asked my cousin who's Gen Z, and I was like, hey, can you please help me edit these videos? And she's great. Like she's way better than I am. So I started paying her to help me. And that was really the first person that I ever hired. I totally recommend getting an editor for 2 reasons. One, you won't have to edit the video. And two, you also are now beholden to a person who's waiting for you to send them the content. So you're creating like a process that you can't get out of anymore. And so it makes you really consistent, when your editor's like, okay, I'm ready for more content, like let's go film or something like that. That's definitely like highly recommended. I do think it's an important thing though in the beginning for you to learn how to edit 1 or 2 videos. I think I edited like 3 or 4 videos in the beginning, and I know how to edit. I'm not as fast or as good as she is, but at least I know how to do um, the things that she's doing so that I can give feedback and advice on what I want to change.
That makes total sense there. Organic growth can sometimes feel a little bit slow. It's going to take some time. Obviously, you're nurturing, you're trying to continue to build that database. Do you ever feel that, there's some form of motivation that might be lacking, or how do you continue to stay motivated during those periods where results might take some time, or there is some, lag time in between deals from that?
So that's a terrible question to ask me because I feel I feel like my problem is I have a lot of motivation and not enough time. Um and like for me everything is exciting. So actually like I do like social media. I don't love social media like people might think I do. You could probably I don't know what people would think about my social media. I actually love operations. And so I like to do the social media so it fulfills what I need so I can go build the operations. So like naturally you can kind of see like I actually enjoy everything that I do. I enjoy selling houses, I enjoy buyers, sellers, the social media. I love the operations though. And so I think if you're like growing organically on social media and you're like, oh, this is like terrible. I don't like this. I think that there's ways to tweak what you're doing to be more in favor of what you like. And again, like the whole point of not trying to be cool is that you're going to be more aligned with your audience. You're going to be more aligned with your clients. your team or whoever you're recruiting to work with you to create this very nice ecosystem that's like a rewarding ecosystem and a place where you enjoy. Like I enjoy work every day because I love everyone I work with. I love all my clients. I love all my agents, you know? And so it definitely like is important to understand that you're not building something to go viral really fast to get a bunch of leads in and then just like sell them homes and you're done. You know, I think if you're building something sustainable, like every year we've had growth for the last 4 years. We did like 30 million, 36 million, 40 million. We did 36 million, 40 million, and then 60 million. And then this year we're almost hitting 80 already. And this has not been a 4 years of regular growth for everybody, you know, in the market. And so growing slowly has a lot of value to it because you're growing a really strong foundation. Um, and I wouldn't say we've been growing slowly, but it's definitely not like from 0 to 100 million in 1 year because you can do that by going insane on social media. But you have to build something that's sustainable that like fulfills you and your life. And so, you know, my recommendation is to like really be thoughtful about what you're doing as what serves you.
That's a great way to put that. Yeah. Don't overthink it either. It's just kind of, let it come natural to yourself. And I think that's why you have so much success there. And your motivation is, continues to be there because you just understand that that's part of the process that you need to continue to add to, the nurturing that you're doing in your database already. We have a question here from Mike. Are you using any, and I guess you are using your cousin to do this, so possibly this might not be here, but maybe it's in your content that you come up with possibly. Are you using any AI editing tools to make the process go smoother?
So, not for editing. I've got a lot of friends who've done amazing things with AI and like just the actual type, like the copy for the posts. So that's been really helpful for a lot of other people. I personally haven't gone into that yet. I might use it for like actual copy or blogs or something else, but not for editing yet. But if you have something good, I'm open to using it.
Well, so you mentioned blogs there for a second. You're creating the content organically on social, you're posting that throughout. Are you using a blog to then push back to your website that's going to expand on any of the stuff that you're posting about?
So our funnel looks like people will message us on social media, they'll schedule a call, or they'll download one of our guides. And then that'll put them in our follow up boss. If they schedule a call, then we have the call with them. If not, then we drip them to get on a call with them. Um, we're as far as blogs go, I haven't started using them in a way where I want to use them as a lead or a major lead capture. I use them on our follow up boss action plans. But actually, with blogs, what I do is I house information on there so I can, for example, we're going to sell 100 homes this year. To explain to 100 buyers the actual like full residential purchase agreement in California would take probably like 200 hours, right? And then like also consider all the buyers who didn't end up buying, right? So just like a wild amount of time. So what I'll do is like I'll make videos that explain things that are repeatable, and then I will send those blogs to our active buyers and sellers so that they can watch those videos and stay informed that way.
Excellent. Yeah. So through different automated tools that are going to continue to push out those smart plans that you're going to be building or action plans within follow-up layers. That's great. We have another question here from Anam. What is kind of where do you spend like most of your time and how do you split it up between time spent on social media, whether that be like responding, maybe are you dedicating a certain hour or two? Are you like how much time are you spending filming, but then also having the client events and maybe showing homes? What does that kind of look like?
So I'm starting to implement theme days, which one of my like coaches like does and learning from him. But theme days, so basically like I don't have a really, really specific amount that I spend on each time. So I have like a half day a week of filming content, and then it's somebody else's job from there on. Um, responding to comments and everything. I have all of that automated and messages. I, as far as client events, so I'm a systems person, right? I have a team of 10 agents. I have a full-time assistant. I have another part-time social media, two part-time social media people, a virtual assistant, and I'm hiring another virtual assistant. So, um, I have a big operation, right? Like we have a lot going on. So my personal time is spent a lot of time on the business versus in the business. So I do have like a good difference in my time. I wouldn't say that it's like how you should model it though, right? Like unless you have a team, it probably wouldn't make sense for you to model your time like my time. But like I told you, I like the operation. So I probably do spend like 2 out of 5 days a week on the business instead of in the business.
Okay, perfect. No, I like how that is separated there, but you're also still dedicating specific time to, have that proper follow-up and stuff like that. And to even expand a little bit about that, building a loyal following, can be a little bit tough there, but as long as you continue to nurture and provide those things for them, it becomes great. What do you think are kind of some of the key elements that are keeping your audience engaged and loyal to your brand?
I think it's the story. Like a lot of times when I talk to people, they're like, "Hey, I saw your whole life play out over the last 4 years. I saw you build your team. I saw you start from your first home. I saw you get married, you know. I saw when you got your dogs. I saw when you guys got a bigger office." So people really like know the story and the feeling of what our team is like. I feel like we're an island in Southern California. Like we do our thing a little differently down here. Like our whole team is a little bit different. We're really close and like really there to help. That's like a really important culture that we have, which is like, hey, whether you work with us or not, like we are legitimately here to help. That comes off on our social media. We also try to create these like experiences with our closed client community. That's like the big thing. It's like once you buy a home with us, you're part of our closed client community. And then we'll do like special events, like our big event of the year is a Lunar New Year party, which is so random, but not random because the good portion of our team is part Asian American and a lot of our clients happen to be Asian American, but it's something for like everyone to be able to get like a bonus holiday, whether you are or aren't. And then like I just hosted a big pumpkin patch at my house. We filled the front lawn of my house with 200 pumpkins and like a barista and like a photographer. So these like random unique experiences that like people get to be part of. And then because we all met on social media, all my clients become friends with each other. And because we're all on the same algorithm, right? And so it's a nice environment for everybody where it makes sense for us to keep doing these kinds of things.
Excellent. So I think you shared a lot of great information here, but what's next for you? What are your goals here in 2025?
So in 2025, looking to, so I'm not looking to grow my team by numbers. I'm looking to grow my team as I want to see all my agents be extremely successful individually, So like we're really focused on our individual agents growth. I work with everybody on like a one-to-one, um, and bringing more people into leadership positions. I want my content to be a lot better this year. I think that, and also, by the way, I don't film a lot of professional content, meaning like high definition camera. I just do it from my phone. That's another key factor.
That's a good point. But it's more of having your phone out there, not having a video crew come in, and then that's where you're all,
Yeah,
ready to go. That's too far and less natural and authentic too.
totally. Yeah. So I want to keep doing like the phone content, but I want it to be more like, I just had an idea. I'm going to film it right now, which means I need to create time for myself, which means I need to hire more. So that's really what I'm focused on right now. Um, but still just enjoying every single day and, you know,
I mean, that's all you
trying
can
to grow.
hope for, and being able to be in that position, be able to do it is amazing. And so I want to say thank you, Kina, for joining us here today with Bosses in Action, and thank you, Follow Up Boss, for having her as well. Any last, tips, tricks, things you want to kind of, push out there? Just, what really works for maybe a new agent or someone that's been doing it for a while but not seeing that growth? What are some of those things that maybe you can leave us here with, uh, at least to go challenge ourselves?
Find like 5 people that you look up to on social media. You like their content, you like their style. You don't need to copy them. I think like when I started, I was like, oh, let me just copy what these amazing people are doing. Really find your own style, like the thing that makes sense to you, because it'll make sense to your followers. And that's how you create this great environment. And then start posting about hyperlocal things, words that only people in your city will know. Like if I told you, oh yeah, I'm like driving around the Tustin foothills, only people from Orange County would know what that means. And that puts you on the right algorithm. And then just try to be consistent.
Excellent. I love that. Real quickly, Kina, if you don't mind, can you put into the chat how someone can follow you or connect with you? I think it would be great to see maybe your TikTok or Instagram in there for others to be able to follow. And then to Sean here, will this program be posted again so we can review it again? Yes, this is recorded. I believe this will be on the Follow Up Boss Success community. It'll get reposted in there, as well as the Follow Up Boss YouTube channel for you guys to be able to rewatch this. Kina has just put that in there. Instagram Realtor Kina, as well as SoCal_Realtor on TikTok. Definitely go give her a follow. I know I'm going to right now because this was great, and I would love to continue to see you grow as well. Also excited to see how your team grows, building from themselves and not necessarily just trying to bring on additional people. I loved how you said that. So that was great. Um, and
Small
we
and
would
mighty.
love to probably have you back as well next in 2025. I would love to follow up again to see where you guys are at and how you guys have grown as a team. And so we would love to have that back. But thank you so much, Kina. Thank you everybody for attending as well. And have a great, wonderful rest of the week.